Now that we know the different types of scissor lifts, how they're used, and the requirements of their use, it's time to talk about safe scissor lift use. According to OSHA, the most common accidents associated with scissor lifts come from having no fall protection, not stabilizing the lift, or positioning the lift incorrectly. To prevent falls, scissor lifts must be equipped with guardrails on all open sides following OSHA guidelines. Guardrails should include a top and mid rail. Before working the scissor lift, the trained employee should make sure that the guardrail system is in place and stable. Workers must never stand on the guardrails. All materials should be kept on the platform, and the worker should never attempt to lean over the guardrails to reach an area. Another common accident associated with scissor lifts is tip-overs due to lack of stabilization. Employers must make sure that scissor lifts are stable to prevent tip-overs or collapses before each use. To do this, manufacturers' directions for safe movement must be followed. This often prohibits the movement of the lift in an extended position. When in use, the area surrounding the scissor lift should be cleared to make sure that no other equipment on site comes in contact with the lift. Work sites need to be clear of holes, debris, slopes, or other ground obstructions that could cause the scissor lift to become unstable and tip over. Scissor lifts should only be used outside when the weather conditions are good. The most important weather aspect to be aware of when using scissor lifts is wind speed. Scissor lifts shouldn't be used at wind speeds over 28 miles per hour. The collapse of the scissor lift is also a hazard that can be avoided by making sure all safety systems are in working order. The weight on the platform must never exceed the manufacturer's load rating, and the load should be distributed as evenly as possible. Nothing other than the scissor mechanism on the lift should be used to raise the platform. The positioning of the scissor lift also plays an important role in its safe use. Correct positioning helps prevent electrocution and crushing hazards. Crushing hazards affect all workers on the job site, not just those using the scissor lift. To prevent these, workers need to be trained to use caution when moving the scissor lift, especially near a fixed object. They should check for any people in the area and warn others before moving the lift. When the scissor lift is being extended or lowered, the area around it should be cleared to prevent crushing accidents within the mechanism. Body parts, loose clothing, and tools should all be clear of any moving components at all times. Ground guides should be used when operating or moving the scissor lift. The scissor lift and another vehicle, like a truck or forklift, shouldn't be moved at the same time. Scissor lift operators must also check clearances when moving the lift under a fixed object, like a door frame or support beam. Positioning the scissor lift is also important near power lines, especially since electricity can jump and cause electrocution, even if the scissor lift doesn't come into direct contact with it. Scissor lifts should be positioned at least 10 feet from power lines, transformers, and other overhead hazards. If repair or maintenance is needed on the scissor lift, the American National Standards Institute, or ANSI, recommends taking certain precautions to ensure safety. First, all manufacturer precautions and directions should always be followed. The load should be removed from the platform and the platform completely lowered before repair or maintenance begins. The platform should be secured to prevent accidental movement during the repair. All controls must be off and all operating features secured to prevent accidental movement. Disconnect all power sources before working on the unit. Only trained workers should use a scissor lift, and everyone on site should understand the hazards and precautions associated with them.